You have a vision of your future self that is nothing short of legendary. In your mind, you are a master of your craft, a person of impact, discipline, and absolute clarity. You can almost feel the weight of the trophies and the respect of your peers. But then, reality hits like a bucket of ice water. You look down at your phone. You've been scrolling for 3 hours. You've watched 4 motivational videos and read 3 productivity newsletters, but you haven't even opened the document you were supposed to start at 9 a.m. The world, and perhaps even your own family, calls you lazy. They think you're unmotivated or that you don't want it bad enough. They tell you to just do it, as if the problem is a simple lack of effort. But they don't understand the lazy ambitious paradox. If you were truly lazy, you wouldn't be stressed right now. Truly lazy people don't care about their future. They are perfectly comfortable in their stagnation. This is the psychological stuckness that haunts the gifted, the creative, and the visionary. Today, we aren't going to talk about hustle culture. We're going to dissect the brutal science of why your brain is sabotaging your ambition and how to finally put the car in gear. Because you are ambitious, you have tied your entire self-worth to your output. Your goals aren't just things you want to do. They are who you are. If you try your absolute hardest and you fail, it doesn't just mean the project failed. It means you are fundamentally inadequate. That is a threat your brain treats with the same intensity as a physical predator. So, your brain offers you a compromise, self-handicapping. By being lazy or waiting until the last minute, you create a built-in excuse. If the project fails, you can tell yourself, well, I didn't really try. If I actually gave it 100%, I'd be the best. This allows you to keep the identity of a genius while avoiding the reality of a novice. Your laziness is a shield, protecting your ego from the terrifying possibility of being mediocre. You aren't failing, you're just not trying yet. There is a specific addictive comfort in potential. As long as you don't start, your potential remains infinite. You could be the next great novelist, the next tech billionaire, the next master artist. In your head, the work is already perfect. But the moment you type the first word or write the first line of code, your potential becomes a reality. And reality is often messy, difficult, and profoundly imperfect. The first draft is going to suck. The first business model will fail. The first workout will be embarrassing. Many ambitious people are addicted to the idea of who they could be, rather than the process of becoming it. We call this the gilded cage. You stay stuck because the dream is more comfortable than the work. You're afraid that the real version of your work won't live up to the masterpiece in your head. So you choose to keep the masterpiece in your head where it's safe from criticism. When you think about starting a YouTube channel, you don't just see filming a video. You see the script, the $5,000 lighting setup, the professional editing, the thumbnail design, the SEO algorithm, and the potential for negative comments all at once. Because you can't see a clear path to a perfect 10 out of 10 result in the next 20 minutes, your brain triggers a threat response. This is task paralysis. The sheer weight of your own high standards has crushed your ability to move your hands. You aren't avoiding the work. You're avoiding the feeling of not being good enough while doing the work. You would rather do nothing than do something average, because to you, average is a death sentence. Now, let's get into the neurobiology. Why does planning feel so much better than doing? Ambitious people are often high openness individuals. You love ideas, novelty, and the future. When you imagine your success, your brain releases dopamine, the neurotransmitter of anticipation. The problem is that your brain is remarkably bad at telling the difference between a real win and a simulated win. Every time you buy a new course, research a new tool, or tell a friend about your big plans, you get a hit of dopamine. This is the dopamine buffet. You are essentially getting high on the vision of your success without ever paying the price of the labor. Psychologists call this substitution. You substitute the feeling of achievement for the achievement itself. By the time you actually sit down to work, your brain has already had its reward, leaving you with zero motivation to do the actual, boring heavy lifting. You've already eaten the dessert, so you have no appetite for the vegetables. In the world of personality psychology, the lazy ambitious person typically scores high in openness to experience, but low in conscientiousness. You have the architect brain. You are brilliant at the macro. You see the skyscraper, the flow of traffic, the aesthetic of the lobby. You can see the world as it should be. But you lack the builder brain, the part that enjoys the repetitive, gritty, and often mind-numbing process of laying one brick at a time, day after day, regardless of how you feel. This creates an executive function gap. Your prefrontal cortex, the CEO, is great at strategy, but terrible at operations. You get stuck in analysis paralysis. Because you can see 100 different ways to solve a problem, you spend all your mental energy comparing those 100 ways instead of just picking the good enough way and starting. You are over-optimized and under-executed. You are a general with a map, but no soldiers. Have you ever spent 3 hours cleaning your room or organizing your emails when you were supposed to be working on your business? That is productive procrastination. It's a form of moral licensing. Your brain treats good behavior like a bank account. Once you've done something virtuous, like cleaning your desk, answering 50 unimportant emails, or buying a gym membership, you feel you have the right to indulge in laziness later. You've earned it. For the ambitious person, even the act of thinking about their big goals can trigger this. You feel so good about being an ambitious person that you feel you've already done something virtuous, which paradoxically reduces the actual pressure to perform. You are playing house instead of building a home. Have you ever noticed that you feel exhausted even when you've done nothing all day? That's because of the Zeigarnik effect. This is a psychological phenomenon where our brains remember uncompleted tasks better than completed ones. When you have high ambitions but low action, you have hundreds of open loops in your brain. Every project you haven't started, every book you haven't finished, and every goal you've set is a tab open in the background of your mind. These open loops drain your RAM. You aren't lazy. You're mentally over-encumbered. The guilt of not working is actually more exhausting than the work itself. You're carrying the weight of 100 unfinished versions of yourself, and that weight makes it impossible to move forward. Within every lazy, ambitious person, there's an internal civil war between two characters: the zealot and the skeptic. The zealot is the one who wakes up at 2 a.m. with a world-changing idea. The zealot demands perfection, 16-hour workdays, and immediate results. But as soon as the zealot finishes talking, the skeptic takes over. The skeptic says, "That's too hard. You're not ready." What if people laugh? Let's just watch one more video first. This conflict creates a state of decision fatigue. You spend all your willpower just managing the argument between these two voices, leaving you with no energy left for actual work. To win, you have to stop the debate and start the action. Ambitious people are very good at visualizing the gain of success. We spend hours dreaming of the trophy. But we are terrible at visualizing the cost of inaction. Take a moment to imagine where you will be in 5 years if you don't change this cycle. Imagine the regret of being 40, 50, or 60 years old and realizing that you had the Ferrari engine, but you never actually took it out of the garage.